Want to bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Football continues. World Series happening very soon. And of course, hockey season. You can bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets, which Jesse is looking at right now. One of the many prop bets. Made for Canadians by Canadians. Sports Interaction is easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Ontario only. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Jake, just the last thing on the Leafs. Jake Muzzin on LTIR now.
Oh, they moved him.
Yeah. And that was this morning. Or was it last night?
Well, Puckpedia had it last night.
Okay. So here's the thing with Muzzin. Obviously, the first thing has got to be he's got kids, he's got a family, and he's got to live a big long life after this. So on the health fact, like I would just on a human level, I hope that he's okay. As a Leaf fan, and as a person, I honestly think with the injuries he's had, and I am not a doctor, and I don't know what his health conditions are. At a certain point, teams have to say to guys, and I think they should have had maybe this conversation with Andre Kasha last year. Are you really sure you want to come back? Andre Kasha's out again.
Carolina's got to have that conversation with him.
I think at a certain point it behooves teams to say, listen, we are worse off without you, but you need to look beyond this game. Yeah. You've got kids and a wife. They've committed. They need you for the rest of your life. We need you for 2 more seasons.
Yeah, Leafs gave him a contract offer too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he's a great player.
And maybe that's not a part of the culture in the game, but I feel like maybe it needs to be at a certain point where the doctor goes to the general manager and goes, listen, it's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Without knowing more about Muzzin's situation, it's hard to make an assessment, obviously. I remember when he took that injury against Columbus, I was like, oh shit, like that might be it.
And he was so good for them in that series. They lost it because he wasn't there.
Yeah. I think he would have won it. And who knows, maybe they would have had a better chance in the rest of game 6 and in game 7 against Montreal if he was there, because he left that series as well. I don't think he was at 100% last year. Mm-hmm. He definitely wasn't at 100% to start this season.
No, and it was kind of apparent when he was on the ice that he wasn't 100%, like right out of training camp.
But the effort was there.
It's never not been, though. It's Jake Muzzin.
That's the reason he's played so many NHL games.
I know. And like he still had like a few really bright moments this season, and he set up that David Kampf goal, that big celly, and he had a few big hits, but now we're at a point where he could be back next week, and I wouldn't be shocked. Well, actually, I would be shocked because it would violate LTIR. He could come back next month, and I wouldn't be shocked. Or he could be done forever.
We're having the Shea Weber conversation of like we may never see Jake Muzzin ever again.
Yeah, like
right?
Carey Price, same thing.
Well, except Shea Weber at least sort of got to make that decision.
Right.
It's
so funny with the Shea Weber situation, by the way, because remember Kipper had a tweet like Shea Weber may never be back. And people were like, once he was like, no, I'll be back. And people were dunking on Kipper. Kipper wasn't wrong.
He made a conscious decision to play through the pain. And situations evolve too.
Sure.
Like, I'm sure it could have gotten
Nick
worse.
wasn't wrong. He was just early.
Yeah.
That was it.
Most players probably wouldn't have come back from that. But it's Shea Weber.
It's like dunking on someone for being like Peter Forsberg's done. Peter Forsberg was done like 3 different times. And he came back and like,
it's like Jerome again, though.
Like, shut up. Like, you know what?
Coming back till he couldn't come back.
All right, Colorado Avalanche, Jerome
Not
McGinley.
the same.
Everybody call it. All right, guys.
Not the same
don't do this
at
to
all.
Jerome.
That is a Kings legend.
Don't sign Iggy. We need to let him know that he's done. Don't give him a job.
Don't let him down from the mountains, whatever hideout he's living in. He's fishing somewhere.
He
let
likes
him fish.
nature. Anyway.
By the way, his daughter playing high-level hockey is just amazing, too. I think that's so cool.
Oh, yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, continue.
No, it's just... you never know.
So the thing that... And I know you guys haven't read this, but the Ken Dryden book on Steve Monador is fascinating because there's a part on it about Keith Primo. And growing up, Keith Primo was like the ultimate power forward centerman.
Yep.
Right? He just missed out on that cup with Detroit because he got traded for Brendan Shanahan to Hartford like the year that they won. Right? Nice. Brutal. But the guy was unbelievable. And when he was playing on those Flyers teams in the early 2000s, man, he was so good. Like, think about that. You've got Lindros and Primo. Like, you would hate playing that team.
He would take bumps in front of the net and then fall on top of Ed Belfour, and I would lose my mind in front of the television.
He was so big, right?
I was so upset.
And he was so good. And if you look at his Hockey DB or wherever you go for stats, go look at Keith Primo, because it's like miss games, miss more games, comes back for 7 games and then done.
Yeah.
And the way he describes it in the book, and I am paraphrasing, is that he came back and he took a slight hit, and that was enough.
Yep.
And it was a couple of years of depression before he got out of it again.
Right.
And then the next time he got a concussion, he was at his kids' hockey game, and he was his kids' hockey team. He was coaching, and he's extremely tall. He put his skates on. He walked out of the room, wasn't paying attention, and hit his head on the door frame, a metal door frame, another concussion, another 2 years of depression. And 2 years, guys. And this is where, like, you've heard me bemoaning this. You're probably rolling your eyes right now, but I'm telling you, first off, that book's worth the read. Second, like, even if it's not a concussion in Muzzin's case, like, what is it? At 50, are you going to be able to run around?
Well, we know he's got a back issue that he's always looking after, and this, if I'm not mistaken, is his second significant neck injury.
Right? Because
the Columbus one, I'm not sure I fully understand that one. And then there's this, which is definitely a neck injury. There are a variety of neck injuries you can get, but it's scary, man.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah. So anyway, we got to move on here. But Jake Muzzin, we wish him the best for Jake Muzzin, because obviously we love Jake. He's great.